Hi, everyone. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Welcome to Candles and Stuff. Today's topic will be how to create a custom blend. So, I'll start this conversation by saying when you're creating a custom scent, allow yourself to be creative. That's the first thing. Don't put a lot of parameters around, if it has a top note, if it has a mid note, just create it. When I'm making a scent, it's almost like cooking. Like I literally allow myself to just be creative and mix whatever I want to mix, even if it sounds crazy. Because some of the things that sound the craziest make the most beautiful fragrances. So when you're working with a client, there's a couple of things that I do. If I have a client that comes into the showroom and they're wanting to just smell scents and things like that, I let them sit down. And if they want to mix things together, I let them mix it. That's my preference, is to let the client do it, because it's easier for a client to sell a private label candle if they had a hand in creating it. And so I let them do whatever they want to do, mix some things together. When they find something that they like, then I come in and start working the numbers to make sure that I know how much of each thing needs to go in it. So there's that part. Um, if I have a client that has not come in, then we need to talk budget. So, are you looking for something that's just a basic scent that we create for you in house? Are you looking for something that you have a product and you want that scent replicated? Or do you want something from a fragrance house? Because again, these are all different levels of budget. So, we need to know what type of budget you're working with. But for most clients, they just want us to create something for them. So, what I do is it's very simple. If you're listening on the podcast, I would encourage you to go to the YouTube and watch the video as well, because I'm going to show you the items that I use when we are creating a custom scent. So the first thing that I use is this, I think it's called a pipette, a pipette. That's a pipette. I get them from Amazon. So it's this little thing right here, and there are measurements on the top right here. And it just a moment of pause. This is a good example of launch the product, perfected later. A couple of podcasts ago, I told you guys that I need to do something with this background. I can't do it because I have a torn meniscus, but we're going to keep the podcast going, even though the background looks crazy, right? Because it's the information that matters, right? We can always fix the background. We can fix the background at some point when I'm able to move stuff around. But anyway, so the items that I use are this pipette. Then I have these little testers, and I have this measuring glass that I get from Walmart, and these little things, they're like perfume testers. I get these off Amazon. And so what I do is I ask the client what is it that they want. So if they want 3 cents or 2 cents, whatever the cents are, I put equal portions of each scent. So I start off with equal portions of everything. That's how I start when I'm making a sample. So on this pipette, the measurements are 0.5, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, and 5. I start with zero point 0.5. So I put zero point 0.5 of each thing into this. Then I stir it around. I pour it in this little perfume tester, and then I send the client this tester and this test strip. So it's kind of like a perfume tester. So they've got the test strip and they've got the oil so that they can smell it. Once they smell it and come back to me, then I make adjustments if we need adjustments. For the most part, when a client wants me to create something for them, once I create it, there aren't a lot of adjustments. Reason being, I understand now how oils work with each other. So, for instance, if someone is asking me for, say, a lavender eucalyptus, but they want it to have more lavender than eucalyptus, I understand that the eucalyptus is going to take over the scent. I know that already. So I'll ask them, do you want it to smell more lavender or more eucalyptus? Then that way I can put 2 parts lavender, 1 part eucalyptus, and I can do all of that before I send it to them. If they're not sure, then I do equal parts, and then I let them tell me what they want after they've smelled it. So that's one way to do it. If you have a client that has a candle, say for instance, they bring you a candle and they're saying, I love this scent and I want a candle that smells just like that. Then you're looking at re-engineering. So you can send the candle off and you can have the oil extracted from it. And there's a cost to that. I think you have to purchase a minimum of 10 pounds of the oil. And I'll put that company's information, because I can't remember what it was. It just flew out my head. I'll put that company's information in the notes. Then there are fragrance houses. Now, when you're dealing with a fragrance house, you're looking at a budget. So that could be anywhere from $3,000 to $30,000, and it could take up to a year. It just really depends on what the client wants, how much time, how much budget, how much back and forth. Do we need to physically go there? Like, there's a lot that goes into that. So that's the type of client that wants something that's specific to them. They have the money to invest, and they understand that it's going to take a moment. When you're just creating something in-house, this, we do these all the time, so it really doesn't take that long. It just depends on the client. And I've gotten to the point now, and again, this is because I let myself be creative. I don't, if the client says, oh, I want this, or oh, this, I don't fight that. It's like, whatever the client wants, or whatever I think after talking to the client would be good for the client. Because a lot of times, if you just listen to your client, they'll tell you what they want. And you have to remember that your business is customer centric. It's not ego driven. So it's not about you and what you like. It's about the client when you're creating for someone. So you really have to listen to them. And I have found that when a client comes in and say they'll smell something that I've purchased from a candle supplier, and I know that I can make it and make it better than that by adding a couple of things to it, I always ask the client, do you mind if I create something for you? And 10 times out of 10, once I create it, they prefer what I created to the store-bought version. And for me, that's exciting because it allows you to be creative and really allows you to show the client your expertise and give them a product that they really, really want, and something that they're really proud of. So again, it's not hard. It's not hard at all. But these things right here, this makes it so much easier because you can start, like I said, I start with the 0.5 with equal portions. Put it in a little beaker, swish it around, and it's easy for me to make, if I need to make a gallon or 16 ounces of the oil or whatever, it's easier when I have the exact measurements of each thing from this smaller amount than it is for me making it any other way. This way has been cost effective. I don't waste any product doing it this way because we're not using that much. It's only 0.5. And then, like I said, if you've got to put more, so if it's 3 parts, 1 oil and 1 part, 1 oil or whatever, it's easy when you're using this because the measurements are already on here and it's a small amount of oil, so you're not wasting anything. Because one thing I've learned in this whole journey is that you don't want to waste. I wasted a lot when I started. So now I try to run a very tight ship and we don't waste anything. So I hope that was helpful to you. Like I said, it's not difficult. You just have to, I think a lot of times people, they don't relax and let themselves create. We get too caught up in what it should be and what it should have. And, can I mix that? Is it okay? If you're mixing 0.5 ounces of something and you don't like it, throw it away. It's not the end of the world. And so that's why I like to use this, because you're using such a small amount. If it doesn't smell good, just toss it out. But chances are it may smell good, but you have to allow yourself to try. So I hope that was helpful. Just something really quick. I know this is 2 podcasts for the week. So yeah, I have a lot of content that I want to get out. So I'm hoping that you all find this helpful. Again, if you have any questions, send me an email. And that's it. Have a wonderful day.